Hello everyone and welcome back to the JES Kindergarten YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being patient with us while all the teachers and myself get some new videos shot and edited and uploaded for you. If you haven't already, tap that bell up top to subscribe. That way you are notified when we upload new content immediately. Today is the second installment of the Tips from Teachers series, and I will be talking all about self-care, and this will be for parents, but a lot of these tips can also be used for your children. So self-care has kind of been a hot topic this year, and I know it was my family's personal goal that we were all focusing on and working on toward this school year. And self-care isn't just all the fun extra things. It isn't just things that you hear, like massages or, pedicures or all the extra. Self-care is actually very basic, and it sounds easy, but I know that as we've been trying to implement it this year, actually can be kind of difficult. So while we're in this transition phase of navigating working from home and e-learning and homeschooling and just this general social distancing and quarantine time that we're in, I would just really encourage the parents and caregivers out there to really take the time and focus on some self-care, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So self-care is really a huge topic. It's kind of been given a little bit of a tag, and it's taking care of your body physically, it's taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, and just taking care of yourself as a complete person. So some of the more simple tips physically, while you're home, make sure that you're drinking enough water. I know that when I'm at work and I'm running around, and that can be more difficult for me, especially in the classroom where I might not have access. But while we're home, please make sure that you are drinking enough water. And for a person, that is half of your body weight in ounces. So for me, I weigh 130 pounds. It's like 65 ounces a day. And so it'd be 3 big water bottles. So I would just encourage you to really try to be meeting your water intake. That's going to just help so many parts of your body and just help you feel better while we are at home. Another part of self-care is, diet. So I know when we're going and we're on the go and you're tempted to run through the drive-through or, grab for the just kind of some unhealthy choices. But now that we're home and you may have more time to be cooking or meal prepping or chopping snacks, I would also challenge you to see if you can make some easy switches so that you are feeling better and just nourishing your body. Another tip while we're talking about self-care for our physical selves, parents and caregivers, I would encourage you guys to eat breakfast. And this may be a no-brainer, once again, the why didn't anybody tell me moment for myself, but I noticed that usually my breakfast consisted of coffee filled with lots of sweetening creamers and flavorings, and that was about it until lunch. And I know probably your students could recognize right about the time when I'm trying to get ready for lunch and I'm like, line up, Miss Petrick is hungry. They just a joke about you can tell when I'm getting hangry. And that's definitely true for my family also. They're like, quick, let's feed mom before she freaks out. So just while we're at home and while we have the time, I would encourage you to take care of your body. So drink your water, see if you can make some more healthy choices, and make sure that you are feeding yourself breakfast. I know that sometimes after I get up and I make everybody else's breakfast and I do the dishes from that and I get them, started on whatever they're working on for their learning that day, sometimes just myself gets lost in the translation. So please make sure that you are taking care of your body. So another tip for taking care of your body is exercise. And I know that this looks different in a lot of homes now that the gyms and the rec center are closed. So I would encourage you to pick something that is simple and low impact and would work for your family. So this might be planking challenges. This might be, doing some yoga online. I know that there's Beachbody subscriptions, there's Zumba videos, there's really a wide range of things that you can do in your own home. And I even remember this as a small child doing a workout video, of course, in the 80s and 90s with my mom in our living room, but I have a lot of really fun memories for that. So I would encourage you to maybe join your child in the Go Noodle videos or in the Cosmic Kids yogas, or find something else fun. I know a family that challenged themselves to just plank during the commercials of the shows that they were watching. And so just to continue to exercise, and that might be getting out and walking around your neighborhood in the mornings or in the afternoons. I had somebody that posted what isn't canceled. Walks aren't canceled. Hiking isn't canceled. Going for a run isn't canceled. Smiles aren't canceled. Conversations aren't canceled. So I would just encourage you to maintain being active and to try to avoid the temptation to stay in bed and binge. So those are just kind of my tips, and I could talk for a long time about that, but I don't want these to be super long for taking care of your body. Another important part of self-care is just doing what you can to take care of your mind and just your place where you are mentally. And my tips for that are to monitor your media intake. So what are you filling your mind with? Just make sure that it's positive. I know that there are just certain public figures or certain aspects of news or even on social media, and it can really just change how I'm feeling. So when I monitor what I'm putting in, I notice that how my overall mood is affected. So things like reading, inspiration or, self-help books, watching really uplifting things on TV. Another tip in this area is to monitor your social media intake. And just slow that down. That helps my mood a lot. And then focusing on the good news. So I know I have an Alexa device, and I could say, Alexa, tell me some good news, and she gives me good news, and that's really been important. And so just monitoring what you're kind of allowing in, because those are the thoughts that I notice that stick with me when I'm trying to sleep, and I'm remembering all of the alarming things that I have read. So just monitor what you're letting in, and make sure that you've got some positive things, some comedians that you enjoy, some just those good feel-good stories, and just positive media right now. I know I'm a thriller. I love to read thriller novels and documentaries and that type, but during this time when I'm already struggling, I'm choosing to not read those types of books right now, and I just have a different books that I am interested in. So monitor your time online, monitor your news, and just really be mindful of what you're putting in. Another tip for taking care of how you're feeling is to talk to people. I know that, we're social distancing and we're self-quarantining, and it can be tempting to keep your struggles, but I know that when I've talked to my coworkers when I was at work this week, or talked to my dad on the phone, which I hadn't had in quite a while, it feels so much better to tell him I'm a little bit scared. We're prepared, we're fine, things are good, but also I'm scared. And just saying that out loud and, hearing that other people have those same feelings, that can just really lift a burden from you. So I would encourage you to reach out to the people in your life, to your friends, to your coworkers, to your family, anybody that you feel comfortable sharing with. Just have that sense of community, that we're all in this together, to hear from other people who on social media look like they have it all together and it's fine, but to hear that they're a little bit nervous too, and that's okay. And we're also modeling that for our kids so that they can talk about how they're feeling. So I know I shared that I have 3 children, and when we asked them what they were feeling, I was a little bit surprised by their answers, but I was glad to know, that they were really scared and didn't know that we had, what we needed, and they had just been hearing things, that I necessarily wasn't aware of, things at school before the schools closed down, or just, from friends or on the radio when we were in the car. And, if they don't have you as their sound box, as their kind of guide through that situation, they might internalize a lot of those really big feelings. And so just make sure that you're asking them, how they're doing, and, reassuring them that they are safe, and that you are helping other people, and that's really good. And just kind of keeping them focused on the positives also. And so I would really encourage you to do that. Another tip that I have is I actually have a daily gratitude journal, and this was a tip that was given to me by a counselor several years ago. And it's very, very helpful in battling things like anxiety or depression or just uneasy times like we're experiencing right now. And that is to pick 3 things every day that you're grateful for and to write what they are and why. And, it doesn't have to be the big, huge things. It can be, I'm thankful that I got to spend an hour in the morning drinking my coffee, before the kids got up. Or I'm really thankful that a friend was thoughtful and brought over some extra books for my kids to read. And the important part that she told me was to share the why. Not just, I'm thankful I have food to eat, but why? I'm thankful that we have a well-stocked pantry because the grocery store shelves are a little bit emptier than usual, or just the why. And I would encourage you to maybe take up this practice during this time of just picking 3 small things and having your kids, we had started asking them, what are you grateful for today and why? And that can just really help you stay in a good mental place. So we've covered taking care of yourself physically, taking care of yourself mentally, and my other suggestion, especially for the parents as we're moving into, kind of homeschooling or e-learning or just not having school, I would just encourage you to show yourself self-compassion and to just give yourself a little bit of space and just don't feel, super stressed like you are taking on all of that responsibility and kind of internalizing a lot of that fear when it comes to your kids and schooling, because you are awesome and you're doing great. If you are, when you're reading books to them or when you're working on the packet with them or you're just doing what you're able to do, that's awesome. And also give yourself the grace and the space to say, can't do it today. Or, to take an hour for yourself if that means that you're letting them watch a movie instead of, working on their spelling words and you are taking a timeout, like that's important. And, the analogy that I hear a lot all over is, when you're on an airplane and the stewardess are telling you that you need to secure your own mask before you can worry about other people. And that's why we're talking about self-care today, because if you're not taking care of yourself, of your body, of your mind, of where you are during this pandemic and this time of crisis, you're not going to be as prepared to help navigate your children through that. So, it's wonderful modeling to take care of yourself. And, same thing, my girl, Rachel Hollis, says you can't pour from an empty cup. But she says, what happens when you take your cup and you put it under the water filter and you're filling yourself up with positivity and you're filling yourself up with the things that your body needs to run the best? Eventually, it overflows. And that overflow is where you're able to bless your neighbors and help them with groceries, or you're able to, show up and be there for your kids in the best way. So I just encourage you guys to take steps to take care of your mind and your body and your hearts as parents and adults and, people first, and then be able to show up for your kids in that space. So please comment below if you have questions, if you would like someone to reach out to you to talk about this. I had a little bit more of a plan and kind of lost it as I started on my ramblings, so forgive me and be graceful with me for that. But I really just want to encourage you during this time while we're at home to take care of yourself first, and then use your overflow to show up for the people around you. And I would hope that you'll get some encouragement and some inspiration and positivity from our channel. And if there's anything that we can do, feel free to send your teacher a dojo if you're needing something extra, or if you want to chat, or if there's just anything that we can do to help you take care of yourself and help your kids feel comfortable and safe and supported during this time. So thank you so much for joining us. This has been the second session of Tips from Teachers from the kindergarten team. So have a great day.